I would like to discuss with you a preview or a snippet or a taste of what it is that your program is going to be.
A smidge, so we say.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
Just a smidge of what your program is going to be about at Imaging USA 2021, the virtual conference that will be PPA's Imaging USA. So could you tell me, first of all, just tell me who you are and tell me a little bit about you.
Let's do it. All right. Hey guys, I'm Mary Fisk-Taylor, and I am in Richmond, Virginia. And if you maybe ever kind of sort of heard of me, you might think of me more of being a higher end wall portrait wedding photographer, right? I mean, that's kind of been my jam and what I talk about. And I do love that, and own a studio with Jamie Hayes. But what a lot of people don't realize is that, gosh, I don't know, over 10 years ago, I started a studio with my mom and my sister. And it's volume and seniors. And it's been a really great, profitable studio, small volume and senior studio, but it's been awesome. So this year we get to talk about that at Imaging USA, and I get to talk with my mom and my sister first time ever.
So the three of you are doing
the Fisk girls, a premier performance. I mean,
now, okay. So right off the bat, I got a couple questions right off the bat, but one of the questions I want to ask is because, so you're in this business, you have this company with your mother and your sister. Now I grew up and was in a company with my father and my brother.
Okay. So you understand a little.
Well, I think so. I mean, there are dynamics that exist. And I went from that to then working with my wife.
Yeah.
Then working for a company run by a father and two sons, which is, so that's my progression.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, so I've seen the different angles from different perspectives and points of view. So if I was to say to you, give me a word that describes what that is like, what's the first word that comes to your mind? This is off topic, but you mentioned it, so I really want to ask it.
Yeah, so we're not going to use any cuss words though. We're gonna just keep it clean. No, first word that comes to mind is definitely the word reset. And the reason I say reset is because we are constantly resetting, reimagining, refocusing, whatever you want to call it, because this started with me being in this industry and bringing them in.
Yeah.
And we all kind of worked together, and then the studio grew. And we it took us a long time to figure out what our places were. And I mean, I kind of wanted to be the boss because I kind of knew more, but then my mom is actually the boss. And then my sister is her favorite. So there's this thing that we had to negotiate and reset. And it took us a while.
Okay.
It took us a while.
Okay.
And we're constantly resetting and reimagining, because we came into this with me being the only photographer. And I'd venture to say at this point in this studio, they're photographing way more than I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we all had to find our places. But so, how can you be your mother's boss? That is that. If anybody has the answer to that, please message me and let me know, because that just
my
isn't happening.
Simple answer in my scenario would be that I cannot be my mother's boss. I also cannot be my wife's boss. I discovered that
given
as well. I don't even really know how to be my wife's partner in business, honestly, because it was always hers. It's always
I mean, I've known you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna.
It's her business.
I'm gonna politely agree.
And that's okay.
It is.
I got no problem with that.
Yes.
All right. Here's my other question. Because this is supposed to be short, and yet you and I could talk well into the evening if we wanted to.
I love talking to you.
I do. That's mutual. That's why I got to stay on task.
We're on it.
Here's my, okay. So your program, I have your program as Real Life Ideas for Your Boutique Volume and Senior Portrait Studio. That's officially the name of the program.
Official.
Freaking long title, but I got it.
It's a very long title. I agree.
Okay, I see a contradiction in terms in here, and I would like you to discuss that with me real quickly.
Bring it on.
Boutique volume.
Yes, and I can tell you this, and why can I tell you this? Because you know me, everything I share is because I failed. Like I only can speak from a place of failure. I don't know for sure unless I failed what to tell you to do. But let me tell you this. What I did, talk about reset, right? So what I can tell you is that we realize you get into the volume business, and anybody who does volume, you get one school and then I could do another, and you just, well, we kind of did that. We got a school and then it grew, and then all of a sudden it seemed like a really great idea to take on all these schools.
Everybody, come in.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I tell you, oh, geez, I can't. Like, we had so many schools and we had stringer photographers. We were dealing with, you can imagine, you're dealing with thousands and thousands of kids, which, I personally look at as little bags of money. Like, they come in, they stand on the spot, they give you their school form.
Oh, I got a cramp.
They give you their school form. Some of them had a check. Some of them wrote in a credit card number. I've had people bring in Ziploc baggies full of change to pay for their school pictures. I did not care. Bags of money. Just all the
that's a literal bag of money.
I mean, a literal bag of money. Exactly. All the way to the bank. But you know what happened is we were just bankrupt by the end of that first year of taking on all that business. Not monetarily, but just emotionally, physically, everything else. We had pushed ourselves to a place where we were not capable of handling that many people. I am not capable of dealing with that many photographers ever. I barely can deal with the ones I've got.
Like, as far as and
that's
staff,
Jamie.
We're talking.
Yes. Yeah. Like your stringers, so you need them to show up at 7 a.m. and set up and be kind and not cuss and not smell like cigarette smoke, be sober. Yeah. I mean, just some basic fundamental things.
Be sober. Come to work sober.
Come to the elementary school sober.
To the elementary school, yes, sober.
Dressed appropriately. Little things I did not know I needed to tell people. So the boutique volume is a trigger for me, obviously, because what we realized is we needed to stick in our lane. And our lane really was the smaller parochial, in our case, they were smaller, parochial schools in that system. That was the right lane for us. Why? Because we can internally handle it. I don't have to outsource to anyone else. The team here can handle it. It was like-minded families and groups. Because why? Because these are the schools I sent my kids to. This is where, I went to school, Yes. So the boutique piece really was a learning point. There was a point one year where we had something like 32 schools, 15 baseball teams, football, soccer leagues, you name it. I mean, and it just, we didn't, the little bit of the money that we made off of that when it was all said and done and we paid all the taxes and all the employees and all that, just wasn't worth it. And we were going to either
$14 left over.
Yeah, we had actually close $13.57 that we went and, we bought some booze with. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
A glass of wine. Let me ask you this then. So you're really, I hear you saying that it's selective. It is. The meaning of boutique volume for you is it's selective based on who you are and where you want to be and where you want to go yourselves.
And that I can handle with what we have, that we can handle internally. We don't need, because we have great partners, right? With our vendors, our great, labs like White House, of course, but we stick with our vendors, and between that and the people that are here, we can handle the volume, we can handle all of it, the delivery, the processing, all of it's handled. And I don't have to go outside that because it was a learning lesson. And Jed, I mean, you all had a small studio for years. It was just Jamie and myself. And then all of a sudden I'm trying to negotiate with, 18 different photographers. It was just not for me. We went
from 3 to 10.
Yeah.
And it was overwhelming. And now we're back to 2.5.
Right. On a good day.
Just right.
Yeah.
Right. These days. Yes. So tell me this, give me okay, so it's real life ideas. Can you give me an idea?
Yes.
Just a piece.
Okay, I'm gonna give you yes. So the good news is by sticking with our lane and really, really being intentional with the contracts we take, that every single contract we have, we are able to work with those schools and not pay commissions. That's my big thing. I also realized that I hated paying all those huge commissions. It just wasn't for me. So when you are involved in the volume business, there's sometimes is a payoff that's expected at the end. And for me, that just didn't feel right, because what do I have to do to justify the payoff? I have to raise my prices, which means now I have to charge those families who just want a second grade picture more money. So every school we contract, or every event or every team or sport we contract with, the deal is we're going to keep our prices low for the families. Because I was that mom. I wanted to buy every one of those I have drawers full of them, right?
Right.
I'm going to make sure the prices are low. The quality is high. We're right here local. You can reach us. And in lieu of that, not only we're going to make sure your families are taken care of, but we're going to give you so many hours of commercial or event photography that you can use for content, for promotion, for advertising, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my biggest learning lesson, was to get out of that commissions game and make it about the families. And that's why the only people I contract with are ones that are like, that's what's important. The families are what matters. How can we work together?
I like that piece. You're creating a win-win. Really 3 wins.
Yeah.
Right. That's and then you're out of that game where you have to raise your prices in order to justify what you need to do on the other side.
Exactly.
Okay. So tell me this, when's your program airing? Do you know?
Is that a trick question, Judd? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to do homework. It is, I'm looking, it's Tuesday, January 19th at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Eastern. It'll be in the sports and event volume school track. So you know how imaging has those different tracks, but it's the Fisk girls. Yeah, my mom, my sister, and I. It's all recorded and nailed down. We have it all. I hope it's all done. Supposedly it's all done, but it'll air at 10 a.m. And then of course we'll stick around and answer some questions and be available for that.
All right, one last thing. I have you here, so I feel as though I need to take advantage of this opportunity. You are embarking now in this next year as the president of the Professional Photographers of America.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes, March 1st.
March 1st. That's when it's official.
Yes.
What is it like for you to be taking this mantle on right now? And I'm speaking as broadly as possible because I want you to take this question wherever you want to go. All things considered, right?
Right.
Your businesses, your family. I know you love your children almost more than anybody I've ever met in my life. So there's that. And then the world situation and the pandemic. Take all of it into account. And what is it like for you to now be taking this on moving forward into 2021?
Okay, so I'm going to try not to cry.
Just a little question here at the end.
Yeah, just a little, just like practically a multiple choice. So I just finished writing my council speech, but not everybody gets to hear it. But I agonized over this speech, just like I kind of agonized over moving into all the different positions that I've been honored to be a part of at PPA. And my family, I do it all with the grace and, approval of my husband of 27 years and my amazing kiddos and my business partners, whether it's Jamie or my mom and my sister. I couldn't do it without them. Right now, I was agonizing over what to say in the environment where you're in, because even though I'm honored, I'm very cognizant of where we are and how we feel and, just kind of where things are. And, it hasn't been, let's just say not exactly a bed of roses for the past 12 months since we last gathered. And I have this little box that sits in my room and I've talked to you a lot about my grandmother, and somebody I don't talk about is my grandfather, because he was a very quiet man, just a very behind the scenes guy, dude, we would say. And he gave me this little box he made me one time, and there's this little tiny note in it with his weird little handwriting. And he just left it for me one day, and it says, "Don't let the buzzards get you down."
Come on.
I'm not joking. And it's
from your grandfather?
My papa. And my papa's been gone a long time. He passed away many years ago, and unfortunately was gone years before that with his Alzheimer's and different things. But when I get feeling sorry for myself, or the pity party's really, getting to me or whatever, I look at that little note and I think, don't let the buzzards get you down. So if it's social media, if it's dealing with another email, if it's dealing with this or that, I just remember him and all those buzzards. And of course, buzzards could be anything today. It could be, the news, it's the pandemic, it's whatever. So as simple as it sounds, for some reason that fills me. Like it just fills me with, okay, because this man fought in 2 wars. He buried his 4 brothers, his parents, his wife. He literally lived in the Great Depression, raised the family on a blue-collar salary, and he didn't let the buzzards get him down. So daggone it, I am not letting those stinking buzzards get me down. And that doesn't mean I won't maybe have an extra glass of wine or feel sorry for myself, or maybe take a bad day, I like to call it. But I'm going to get up the next day and believe that I'm not going to let it happen. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
that's one of the best answers to any question I've ever asked.
But my concern with this speech, and let me get your into my concern with this speech. I wrote it and I cried and I wrote it and I reread it. And then I was like, damn it. Every time somebody sees a buzzard, they're going to think of me.
Well, I don't see a lot of buzzards.
I know. I hope not, because they're hideous. I don't see a lot of literal buzzards. They're hideous.
But I do love the advice. I think that's important advice. And I love the story associated with it, and that it came from your grandfather. I think that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
You're so welcome.
On that note, I'm excited about imaging.
Yeah.
I know it's virtual this year. I know that's different. But I'm really excited and looking forward to it. This will obviously come out beforehand. And so when people see this initially, they'll get a chance to tune in, to your program and a lot of others, a lot of great content coming out this year. And I know that a lot of people have been working really hard. So thank you for taking the time to do this with me. And I wish you the best. And I can't wait to talk to you again and maybe see you in person sometime. That'd be nice.
I would love that. Thank you, Jed. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You too.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this conversation presented by White House Custom Color on YouTube. Be sure to check out our other content and click that subscribe button right there. Right. Right there. It's there somewhere.